The reason why you're experiencing all that anxiety is because you want to be in control. You want to be in control of the outcome of the situation. When God is God and God is God all by himself, he don't need your help. As a matter of fact, you're in the way. How do we know this? Because if you look in the book of Genesis, you will see that God had to put Adam to sleep first to do his best work. When you're all frustrated, overthinking, and overwhelmed, you're in the way of God doing his best work for you. When you rest in his word and in his power, then God can do his best work and align things up for you. God had to put Adam to sleep first so that he can bring Eve to be his helpmate. Adam was able to experience the shalom of God because he was resting knowing that he said, cast all of your cares on me, for I care for you. He's the author and the finisher of your faith. Until you stop trying to be in control, God can't do nothing for the situation. You got to release that control and understand that God is going to make a way out of no way. And so if you're experiencing that anxiety and fear right now, you're no longer in the presence of God. Because when Adam and Eve ate the fruit, when God said, where are you? God didn't know where they were because they were now operating in the spirit of fear. He said, I didn't give you a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So you don't have a sound mind right now because you're not in the presence of the Lord anymore. You're operating in fear. He said, be anxious for nothing, but by everything, prayer and supplication. Let your requests be known to him. Tell God what you're in need of. Tell God what's on your heart. Be real. Be raw with God. God cares for you. You don't have to go to God to be perfect. He wants to meet you right in the middle of your mess so that you can understand that he's in control, not you. That's why you have to release yourself from that control. He said many of the plans of a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Once you get to a place of saying, God, not my will, but let your will be done. God, I release this to you. I surrender it to you. You said be anxious for nothing. You didn't tell me to be anxious about these bills. You didn't tell me to be anxious about how I'm going to pay rent. You didn't tell me to be anxious about my children. You didn't tell me to be anxious about my health. You didn't tell me to be anxious about my future. You told me to be anxious for nothing. So God, I'm giving it back to you. I'm letting you know that this is what's bothering me. This is what's hindering me from being in your presence. So help me to release it. I give it back to you because you said cast your cares on you because you care for me. So as I lay this at your feet, God, help me not to pick it back up. Help me to understand that I'm not in control of nothing, that you are in full control. And you said in your word that you never saw your righteous forsaken. You never saw your seed begging for bread. And your promises are yes and amen. So if you said it in your word, then you have to do it, God. Because you said your word is exalted above you. You said in your word, God, that you would give me the desires of my heart and make all my plans succeed. So after you have fasted, after you have prayed, after you have worshiped, after you have been in a spirit of thanksgiving, you have to stand on it, knowing that God can, God will, and God is. Amen. So be anxious for nothing and have a blessed day.